What's up, y'all? It's your boy, tour guide Tony, aka Toeknee Tee, and today we're gonna talk about something really special. I promised y'all in the last video that we was gonna break down residence permits because they're super important when you want to live abroad for an extended period of time. And so today we're gonna get down into who needs one and why. But if you stay to the end of the video, it's really important because if I know you guys like free information, I'm gonna break down 3 visas that anybody can get. Okay. And 2 bonus visas that are specific to Americans. That's right. That's 5 visas for 5 different countries, and none of them include having to get married to some girl you don't even know. So let's check it out. Stay to the end, and thanks for tuning in. What's up, y'all? Welcome back. I wanted to make a separate video breaking down residence permits. We mentioned it briefly in the last video, which is somewhere on the screen, maybe here. But this is so important that it's not nothing you want to glance over, especially if you have a dream of being abroad for an extended period of time, really making a life somewhere in another country. So today, let's just break down the nitty-gritty of what a residence permit is. First things first, it may be called a residence visa, especially if you're in Europe, it's going to be called visa a lot, but that's all translated to the same thing. What it is a document that gives you the right to live in a country that you're not a citizen of. Now you might be thinking, how do I know? Like, do I need to get a residence permit? Let's just say if you were born in a certain country, you have citizenship in that country, normally 100% of the time off birthright. Sometimes you may have access to citizenship in another country, residence in another country through your parents, maybe through your lineage if you do some special visas and stuff like that. But the easiest way to say is if you're not from that country, you normally don't have the right to live there. There are exceptions, like the European Union, wide open in a sense that they have what's called the Schengen. So if you're from any of the EU countries, you can live in another EU country, work in that country, just as if you were a citizen of that country and nobody's causing a fuss. But let's say you were from America and you wanted to go move to, let's say, I don't know, Thailand. They'd have a problem with that. There's ways around it, and that's what we're going to talk about today. But most importantly, you know that if you're not from that country, you do need a residence permit if you want to stay there longer than the 90 days they typically give you for the tourist visa. So you're probably thinking, why do I need to get a tourist visa? Really, if you ask me, it's all about population control. Because if you can control where somebody goes, you can control who they're making babies with. But that's another story. Do your own homework. They're going to say it's because of taxes and people not losing jobs and labor and all this other stuff. But again, do your homework. But what we can talk about that's subjective, I think I'm using that right, where to get these visas from. Most countries are going to have an office where you can apply for the special visa. In Germany, it's called the Ausländerbehörde. In the Netherlands, it's called the IND, Immigratie Naturaliseringsdienst, or naturalization. I forgot what nationalization is, but y'all know what I mean. The IND. Australia, it was like, I can't remember what Australia's was, but essentially every country has a special office where you're going to go, you're going to come with all your papers, birth certificates, usually, like ways that you can be internationally identified. So your driver's license from Alabama might not always work, but they will always outline ahead of time online what you need to bring and what's necessary to actually get a long stay residence permit. All right, you're probably thinking, when should I apply for this residence permit? And to be honest, it's all dependent on the country that you go to. Some places like Australia, and it depends on the visa you get as well. I know if you get a certain visa to Australia, then you apply for it beforehand, and as long as it clears, and you're good to go. I've heard of a lot of people having to apply for visas beforehand to come to America as well, like from the EU and things like that. Now, I know that if you go to Germany, for instance, let's say you want to be a freelancer in Berlin or something like that, they allow you to show up on your tourist visa, get settled, and convert that over to whatever kind of visa that you're working on, as long as you can like do it within a necessary amount of time and have proof. All of them about 100% of them want to make sure that you have like a way of getting out of the country if things go awry. So when it comes to knowing when to apply for it, they'll let you know when you check out the visa. So always do your research on the kind of visa that you want to get. Yeah, well, so we're at the end of the video. That means you want to know 5 easy residence permits that anybody can get, with the last 2 being specifically for Americans. Sorry. Okay. The first one is, I say almost anybody can get it, but they do have an age limit. You got to be between the ages of 18 or 35. But as long as you are and you like a little adventure, Australia has what's called a work and holiday visa, meaning you can go over there and get a residence permit. You can live for the whole year, and you get a work permit, meaning you can work without restriction for the entire time as well, meaning, no time limits, no limits on the employers. And this is meant to attract people to the country, people seeking adventure. Maybe they got some skills. A lot of them are schoolies, kids who just got out of high school and they're on their gap year. But you will find a lot of highly skilled professionals, engineers, chefs, accountants who go down there and they get sponsored, because you can work for anybody and you get sponsored, meaning a company will hire you and say, hey, we need you in the country to perform work for us. We got the immigration stuff. We'll handle that for you. And that leads to permanent residency, meaning you don't even need a sponsor anymore, which leads to citizenship after about 5 total years, meaning you don't need anybody and you can vote and do all kinds of social stuff within the country. So very, very attractive, that work and holiday visa. The second visa that I highly, highly recommend, this one is kind of specific to people who want to further their education or maybe further their children's education. But every country just about has what's called a student visa, meaning you can go to a university and attend and get a full-on degree. Some of them aren't as accredited as others, so you got to check that out. All of them have different stipulations as far as the admission process. But I want to talk about Germany specifically. Germany is great because they do have some universities that are fully in English. All of them, you need to know Germany a little bit just to get on in society. But the point is that if you're coming from a place like America or Australia or England, you can't go to Germany for university, and you can go for university very, very cheaply. The tuition alone will only cost you about $300 or $400 a semester, and then the visa itself will cost you about $300 every time you renew it. So the first time is 2 years, and after that, just every other year. This visa is great. There is a limit on how long you can study, but it is a long stay visa for anybody wanting to experience another continent and get an education in the same process. The third visa that the only downfall about this visa, though, is that there are stipulations on where you can work. You can work anywhere, but you can only work 20 hours a week, half-time. It's an issue with the health insurance over there because it's mandatory. But if you can have, work in the summertime somewhere else and then bring that with you, it's totally doable and totally worth it. All right, so number 3. Number 3 is what's called a digital nomad visa. This is for everybody who's out there doing online business, trapping online, making numbers jump through the computer screen. Maybe even if you work for somebody and they don't care where you live at. It's very unlikely, though, because of international tax laws. But the point is that you're not going to an office every single day. If you are somebody like this, then a digital nomad visa may be for you. What's cool about this, and it's different for every country, but as long as your main source of income is outside of the country, they'll allow you to come, they'll allow you to live, and they'll allow you to stay as long as you're spending your money with them. That is kind of the catch. You can't really pick up employment while you're in the country. You can't really perform your services in the country. You can sell things online, but you can't exactly open up a gym in Colombia. That wouldn't be the same. You'd have to get a different visa for that. And you can't always stay indefinitely. Almost always you can only stay up to a year. Colombia is nice where you get 2, but these visas are meant for you to kind of mosey along. All of them aren't called digital nomad visas. Some of them are just long stay visas set up for digital nomads. So check that out. Do your research. But Bali, Cambodia. All right, y'all. All right. So these last 2 are kind of specific to America. Kill me for knowing about my own country, but these are two visas that are really, really great if you, I don't want to call them last ditch efforts, but they're so easy. If you just need a scat pack, almost anybody from America can apply for these and get them. The first one though is also, it's really for business savvy people though. So you got to forgive me on that one. This is another one. If you've got your own business or if you'd like to start a business, the Netherlands has what's called the DAFT. It's the Dutch American Friendship Treaty. You can just think of it as a deal they made way back in the day where they're like, hey dog, we like you. We want to do business. We make sure all of our citizens are doing business. And so if you're from America, or even if you're from the Netherlands and you want to go live in America, they have it set up where you can apply and you can open up a business or you can transfer your business over there. But setting the business up isn't as strenuous, and you don't have as many stipulations to fulfill or requirements to fulfill when it comes to setting up your business and your business having like a necessity within Dutch society. That's the cool thing about it. So DAFT, I highly recommend that. You definitely want to hit the ground running or have business set up, because it is rather expensive in the Netherlands. It is rather expensive in America. So whether you're going there or you're coming over here, you definitely want to at least, try to get your business up and running as soon as possible. The visa is good for 2 years initially, and you don't have to worry about much. I mean, you can live there as much as you need to in that 2 years, but you will need to show proof of like business activity after those 2 years. So just keep that in mind. I know I rambled a lot on that one. The last one, and this is probably the easiest one, and I mean, it's the sweetest one. It's the sweetest residence visa for Americans, and that is Costa Rica. Yeah. So this one is interesting. It's not really interesting. I don't know what happened with history back in the day, but Americans don't need visas to go to Costa Rica. We can just stay there. So there's a big community over there. It's not cheap. It's one of those third world countries with first world prices. So it's a second world country, I guess. But you get my point. It's not someplace where you can live like a hog in a fat house or whatever Buddy said in Pulp Fiction. You got to have some ducats while you're down there. I don't know how taxes work down there, but it's probably more affordable than where you're living at. But those are my 5, and I hope you like them. If you need more tips, man, holler at me on Gram send me a comment. Let me know where you want to go, and I'll probably know a visa for sure. So see y'all later. Hey, tour guide Tony.
I want you alone. I want you alone. Yeah, I want you alone. Hey. Sierra player gon' meet his match. Here without a history of strings attached. Gee, I had my hands back when looking for love. Surprise, my plan B. Here we go. I ain't got no way. No. Took a look at you when I threw it away. Yeah. Take a trip with me, we could travel the world. But first, let's get rid of your girl. Alone. Girl, I know your friends are here. Send them home. Hey. Got my Uber spinning blocks and my roll home. Girl, I know you feel the vibe. Yeah. 2 drinks till it's light, so come on, girl, I want you alone. I want you alone. I want you alone. Whoa, yeah, babe, I want you alone. Tell the truth, I'm shy. Don't ask me why. I get on the stage, grab that mic and I rage, yeah. But when I get around sweet days like you, I lose all my moves and clamor. Wow. Now baby, know that I'm drunk and I'm high. Won't let this pass me by, need to look. So I say what's up, got me singing late night, taking chances with you. Shooting my shot, don't know if it's getting through, but if cop blocks reside, then I'll be fine. I gotta see you more tonight, 'cause girl, I want you alone. Yeah. Girl, I know your friends are here, send them home. Got my Uber spinning blocks and my roll home. endless flight. So